Hello, my name is Tom Bertrand, and welcome to the Legendary Golf Instruction Series. This series that I have developed is mainly to put motions to the depicted pictures of Hogan's 5 lessons, to put motions to my book, The Secret of Hogan's Swing, and also to put motions to the drills and exercises that I have in my Legendary Golf Workbook. So, this segment, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the twist, or Hogan's little twist as it's termed, and I'm going to talk about the history of that twist, and I'm going to demonstrate it for you, and then I'm going to show you how you can incorporate it into your swing. So, first off, what is Hogan's little twist? Well, Hogan's little twist is actually a wrist cock that is not a back cock, is not an up cock, it's a twist cock. So let me demonstrate for you what I mean by that. In the past, many people have used the golf swing as a back cock. This is a back cock where they take the leading edge of the club face, and in the rotation of the shoulders, they do nothing with the hands except allow them to turn on the way back. It's almost like that open door kind of feeling. And when people did that, when they actually used the back cock, they would actually turn the left elbow out. That allows you that freedom to get the leading edge of the club face to be perpendicular to the ground. And a lot of times back in the early 70s, mid-70s or so, it was very popular because it was an easy way to swing the golf club. So it was taught quite frequently. Next, we had what was called the up cock, okay? And John Schlee used that in Maximum Golf, and that was a beautiful feeling. It was a good way to get the wrist cock fully, because remember, the wrist cock is going to be where the hands, the right hand and the left hand, and the golf club and the left arm become almost like the 90-degree angle, okay? But so we have the up cock and we have the back cock. Well, which one do you use? Or do you use more than one, or is it a combination that you should use? Well, Hogan liked to keep this more a secret because he felt that it would hamper people's swing. They wouldn't understand it fully, and what would happen is they'd actually go about hitting maybe many shots to the right, because this twist opens up the club face fairly wide. So, let me get into it. When Hogan first found what he termed the secret in 1946, what he did was he changed his grip, he weakened his grip a little bit to allow the opportunity for the back of the left hand to be more in line with the leading edge of the club face. The right hand was more on top of the grip. But he found by weakening his grip, that did nothing. He could still powerfully go through the hitting area and still hook shots occasionally. It wasn't as bad as before, but he wanted to get rid of that occasional hook. So what he found is that if he, on the way back with his golf swing, on the way back in the backswing, if he actually twisted his hands in this fashion, he actually would turn the hands. The right hand would go under, the left hand would go on top. This created that cup in the back of the left wrist. Now, you can create a cup in the back of the left wrist with an up cock too, which is what a lot of people did, but it doesn't give you the feeling or the sensation that the twist gives you. It is a motion that has to be trained. If it's not trained properly, it will not work. And what a lot of people found is that they didn't know how to do it. Hogan didn't really explain how to do it. He didn't explain it in 5 lessons. He explained it slightly in that Life article in 55. But what happens is, if you do it properly, you create that cup in the back of the left wrist so that when you get to the top of the swing, what you'll notice, and you've noticed probably in a lot of Hogan pictures, is that because of the twist, because he actually twists the club going back, it creates the angle of the club face to be more open than perpendicular to the ground. So that twist will give you more of a feeling of an open club face. Also, at the top of the swing, Hogan's club would point more away from the target line because of the action of the hands twisting. So, at the top of the swing, he would get to this position where his hands would be pointed, his club would be pointed, actually looking down the target line would be pointed to the left of the target line. So, what's the benefits of something like this? Well, like I said before, you are actually incorporating another move into your swing. And this is where I have termed it coiling the hands. Remember, we coil the lower body by keeping the arms together. We're actually creating use of the arms in the fact that they are together and working together. And the last thing we can incorporate is twisting the hands or coiling the hands on the way back. So if you look at it, the Hogan twist is actually a coil of the hands. Okay? Now, like I said before, what is the benefit of this? The benefit of this is by coiling the hands, you will then allow yourself the opportunity to delay the hands coming down in through the hitting area, whereby in the golf swing, the ball will not go left. Okay? So, how much do you do it? You do it to a degree each time. Hogan, in the foreword, in 1985, talked about, to Nick Seitz, about what he did on the way back. And when he said it, he said, I opened the club face as fast and as far as I could. And that was his twist. And as he developed it over the years, he could open his club face, or he could actually coil his hands and twist his hands much more than the average person. And he did that because going through the hitting area, his hands and wrists were so powerful from all the practice he did, he needed to use this adjustment in his swing. Now, I like to term it an adjustment that is, and like Hogan said, it's not necessary for everybody to do this, but it will give you a better feeling on the swing, it will give you more accuracy, and it'll definitely give you more power. Okay? So, how do you incorporate it in your swing? Well, what I like to do is I like to tell people to practice this at home with your practice club. I like to get people in front of a mirror and start the backswing independently with the wrist cock, the shoulder turn, and the little twist, or that pronation. I mean, Hogan talked about it actually pronating and supinating, but what happens is people get too complicated. It becomes too complicated when we get into pronation and supination. So I just like to call it a twist and an untwist. So on the way back, what do? First, I tell people, if you want to practice the Hogan twist, do it first. Twist it first, and then take it back to the top. Twist it first, then make the shoulders turn. It's independent. One goes first, shoulder turn, then the rest of the wrist cock. Okay? The three distinct movements are wrist cock, twist, and shoulder turn. You can do them independently. Wrist cock, twist first, shoulder turn, wrist cock. Remember, the last little bit of that wrist cock is what you're going to be looking for to get yourself in a full set position at the top of the swing. So, looking at it from this angle right here, you will see that the wrists turn as you're going back. And once you get to the top of the swing, your club will definitely point away from the target line. Now, a couple of things to watch for. If you have a stronger grip, in this instance, you can actually see that that's almost the twist right there. You can actually see that if you're set up with a wrist, with your grip, where you can see 3 or 4 knuckles of the left hand and the right hand is underneath, you can actually determine that that's a twist right there. But what happens if you swing properly through the hitting area, where the arms and hands go, your club face is going to be completely shut. Okay? This can open up a can of worms, because all of a sudden you start seeing people that instead of letting their body flow freely through the hitting area, they're hitting against a firm left side, and they're trying to keep the club face square. And what Hogan tried to do is he tried to allow people the opportunity to use their whole body, to use it in a free-flowing motion with no inhibited feeling of the left side whatsoever. So that's where the grip and the arms come into play for that. So remember, to practice the twist, do it independently first. The twist, the wrist cock, the shoulder turn, independently. Once you're used to it, then you can do it as the wrist cock, or I'm sorry, as the twist and the wrist cock together along with the shoulder turn, just like this. And if you get that feeling of turning back and coiling the hands properly, go to the practice range, start practicing hitting balls with it. Okay? Now remember, the other thing is, the twist is then incorporated with laying off the club. And we'll get to that in another segment. But right now, I just want you to learn to take it from this point at address to the top of the swing properly. See you next segment.